Hey guys, what's up? This is Modifieds here. I want to show you how to properly lubricate your flashlights. Now there's a few important things you should know about the threads and O-rings in flashlights. Now most O-rings in flashlights are either polyurethane, silicone, or a rubber. And the grease that you'll want to use in all your flashlights is going to be silicone grease. It is safe to use silicone grease on all flashlights. You should not use petroleum products on your flashlights at all. Though safe for some flashlights, petroleum products are not safe for all flashlights. Now petroleum will deteriorate most O-rings, and silicone is safe for all O-rings, even silicone O-rings. Silicone grease may make silicone O-rings swell a slight amount, but not to any noticeable degree. Silicone grease has never caused a failure in O-rings, but petroleum products have. Now the way I lubricate my flashlights, I separate into two parts. First is the O-ring, and second is the threads. Now I use two separate lubricants for my O-rings and my threads, but they are both silicone based compounds. Now for the O-rings, I use this. This is a very good product. It's kind of expensive, but it's very well worth it, and one tube of this will last you a lifetime, literally. This is a translucent silicone grease. It lubricates and protects against moisture and corrosion. It is also a dielectric grease. You can use these on spark plugs or the spark plug boots. And you can also use them on the ends of light bulbs to make it easier to take out the next time. This is a food safe grease. Accidental food safe contact is okay. That's why I also use this on knives that are prone to rust. This will protect them from rust very well. And for the threads of my O-rings, I choose Super Lube. It is a silicone based compound, but with an added friction reducer, PTFE, also known as Teflon. And this is also food safe in small amounts. You do not need to take a spoonful of it. Just if you had a coated knife in it and you cut some food with it, you'd be alright. This is non-toxic, wide temperature range, which is necessary for flashlights because they get very hot very fast. Excellent heat transfer efficiency, thermally stable, and compatible with the major rubber and plastic compounds. Now silicone protects O-rings from drying out, cracking, and fading. And this silicone PTFE compound protects the threads from friction. It protects your threads from wear each time you turn the head to tighten it or loosen it, or you need to open up your flashlight to recharge the batteries, or if you have a twisty flashlight with threads, I would highly recommend you use a friction reducing silicone compound. But for the O-rings, I use a pure silicone grease because the O-rings do not benefit from the added Teflon ingredient. The job of the silicone grease is to coat the O-ring to seal in its natural oils and moisture. And if you want to protect your internals of your flashlights, If your flashlight has gold-plated contacts, which many of the higher-end flashlights do, it'd be wise to invest in some deoxit gold. It enhances conditions all gold-plated electronic connections. It is effective on all plated surfaces. It claims cleaner audio, clear video, and reliable data. But the main thing is all electronic connections deteriorate, causing reduced performance and eventually total failure. Deoxit gold enhances and conditions all gold-plated connectors. You can use it on connectors, switches, relays, plugs, sockets, connectors, batteries, IC pins, and sockets. Now this will prevent your gold from oxidizing and tarnishing. Now I'm going to show you how I prepare my flashlights when I first buy them, because I like to clean off the manufacturer's grease and clean the threads, because sometimes they're not perfectly clean and they might have metal shavings in the threads. So here you have the positive contact. I like to put some deoxit gold on this contact right here, which is gold plated, so that will protect it for a very long time. That's not important there, but I'll just put some deoxit in there anyways. Alright. And then there's a spring inside there that I will apply some deoxit to. This is totally unnecessary, but this is just how I treat all my flashlights prior to use. And every maybe 6 months I'll do this again. Now after you've cleaned your threads to ensure that they are clean and there's no debris or dust on your threads, we can move on to lubricating our O-ring. Now I'm just going to take the O-ring and take a dab of grease and then rub the grease all over the O-ring. Ensure you get full coverage. You can sort of spin it around your finger, make sure you get it everywhere. And then I'm just going to put the O-ring over the threads. I have not put any grease on the threads yet. You'll want to ensure you have a coated O-ring before you put this on, because the threads are sharp and you do risk cutting the O-ring, and the grease will help it slide on much easier, and you'll reduce the risk of damage to the O-ring. Now the next step, after we put the O-ring on, I'll take my Super Lube and I will take a dab on my finger there. See, still have a full tube left. You could buy one of these and that will last you a lifetime. Take some lube, and on the threads I will completely coat the threads, and I will actually fill the threads completely with grease. Now it's okay if you get some of this grease on the O-ring. It's actually good if you get some Super Lube on the outside of the O-ring. That will help reduce friction. But to initially coat the O-ring, I just use the pure grease. Alright, I have completely coated the threads in PTFE silicone grease. As you can see, they're packed in with grease. Now after you put the grease on the threads, be sure to set it down on a lint-free area. Maybe place it on a plastic bag that doesn't have any dust. Make sure you don't lay it down on any cloth material that will pick up lint. Now for the battery, I have here an IMR 18350 3.7 volt 700 milliamp hour battery by the best battery company for flashlights, which is AW. Now I take my deoxit gold and I will coat the end of both sides of the battery. This will ensure a better electrical connection. Now I'm already done with lubricating the flashlight, so I can go ahead and put the battery in there. Actually, what I'd like to do is, without a battery, just screw the threads into the flashlight. That will help transfer grease to the other threads. And then I'll just twist it back and forth a little bit to get that grease worked in on both sides of the threads. And I'll just undo it, and then I'll inspect the threads to see if I need more grease or not. And it looks like all the threads are still coated in grease, so I have enough. And then I will assemble the flashlight. Alright, I'm going to blow the dust out of the parts. Make sure we're not getting any dust inside the light and the threads. Place our battery in there. You'll want to be very careful when initially threading the flashlight together that you do not cross the threads. That's why I like to have more than enough grease in there to prevent the friction and wear caused by initial threading. Make sure you snug it down pretty good, but you don't need to over tighten it. And then there you have it, guys. That's how I lubricate and protect my flashlights. They all get the same treatment. They all get deoxit gold and silicone grease. If you need to know where I've purchased these ingredients, I got this at Home Depot online. I think you can get it in the store, but this particular compound right here is what I was looking for, and I had to order it online. And then this I got from Fry's, but you could probably look this up and buy this online also. And this was also bought at Fry's, and you can also buy this online. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below, and have a great day. Can you even see that? Flashlight's on, but the camera isn't picking it up. So let's turn the brightness up a little bit. It's pretty low. Turn up a little bit, you can see it better. Let's turn this down as low as we can. It's still on, still on, still on, still on.